hope you got a chance to see the other sections, which is what exactly a psychiatrist is and how to tell if a psychiatrist is the right fit for you. In this last section, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how to get the most out of the appointment with your psychiatrist. And I really, really recommend that you go to the form in the resources section of this and fill it out and take it with you to your psychiatrist appointment. I promise you this is a pain, but it will really help. So, how to get the most out of your appointment? First and foremost is get prepared. So this is where that form comes in handy. The psychiatrist is going to ask you a lot of questions, and sometimes it's hard to remember, especially if you're a little bit nervous or if you have a lot to say or you're trying to see if they're a good fit for you. So what are they going to ask you? They're going to ask you questions about how you're feeling right now. They're going to go through different symptoms. They're going to ask you about stuff that you have probably never experienced in your whole life, so don't get offended if they ask you about thoughts of suicide and you've never had that problem, or they ask you if you've ever heard voices. Like, don't get offended. That's just kind of standard questions. They're going to ask you about your history. This is where taking notes ahead of time really helps. So writing down all of the psychiatric medications that you have taken in the past, to the best of your memory, with the doses, the amount of time you took them, and whether or not they had side effects, and why you stopped. If you can do that for all of the psychiatric medications, that will be really, really helpful in the future. You want to get information about your past medical history. They're going to ask about that. So, diabetes, hypertension, surgeries, if you've had neurological problems, seizures, strokes, if you've had brain injury, loss of consciousness, those are all pieces of the medical history they're going to want to know. They're also going to want to know if you're taking any non-psychiatric medications. So blood pressure medicines, diabetes medicines, birth control, high supplements of vitamin C. They're going to want to know all that. So make sure you take that information. They are also going to want to know about your past psychiatric history. Have you seen a psychiatrist before? Have you seen a therapist before? How long? What did they help you with? Did you think it was helpful or not? Have you ever had to be in the hospital for psychiatric reasons? What kinds of treatments have you had? They're going to ask you about all of that. They're going to ask you a little bit about your social history. So again, it is normal that a psychiatrist is going to ask about things like, are you married? Do you have children? Where did you grow up? Those are pretty normal questions as well. So to get the most out of your appointment, gather as much information as you can ahead of time. Think about the providers you've had in the past and your current providers and who might have information that your doctors need. So for example, if you see a primary care doctor, write down their information because the psychiatrist may want to ask them for labs or other information that they have gathered. Think about who you're okay with the psychiatrist communicating with. So if you want to keep it totally private, you don't want the psychiatrist to talk to anybody, that's perfectly okay, but you need to tell them that. If you want them to talk to a spouse or a parent, that's okay too. You just have to be specific and tell them what you would like to happen. So think about those things going in. Think about your goals. What are your goals for seeing the psychiatrist? What are your goals for treatment? Where do you want to be in 3 months? Where do you want to be in 6 months? Where do you want to be in 12 months? Sometimes clarifying those goals can really help the psychiatrist know where is a good place to start. I also recommend writing down kind of what's a typical day like for you. When do you get up? What do you do? When do you go to sleep? When do you eat? Like, that sounds maybe silly, but that sometimes helps them get a good visual image of kind of you on a day-to-day basis. So again, I think preparation is really the key. Obviously, get the paperwork together. Fill out any consent forms ahead of time. Arrive early to your appointment. Please arrive early. It's very easy to get lost, especially when you're nervous. It's very easy to have trouble figuring out where to park or to find the building. Really give yourself enough time. Take a book or take something with you and give yourself at least 30 minutes extra to get to this appointment. It's really important you start on time. If you arrive late and you miss part of your appointment, you're going to be flustered and it's just going to be harder for everybody. And then make sure after the appointment that you really know exactly what the plan is. It's okay to ask the psychiatrist to write down your plan or email it to you, or you can write it down, even better. Make sure that you know when you're supposed to schedule your follow-up, and make sure if you're taking medicine that you know what medicines to take, how to take them, and what pharmacy they're going to be at. So it sounds like a lot of prep work, but again, I promise if you put in a little bit of effort at the beginning, you're really going to get a lot more out of your appointment. So I hope this all has been helpful. We're going to have some resources here at the end that you can download and use. And either we would love to see you here at the practice if you're local, or if you're going to go elsewhere, you don't live local. I hope these resources are helpful for you as well. Thank you so much.